Chainsaw Man episode 4 Rescue. So we actually start this episode with more power and more of her flashback. It's basically just her killing a bunch of animals and drinking their blood and talking about how much she loves blood. And then we see the Bat Devil and it grabs Meowie and tells Power, if you want your cat back, go get me a human. And we see her rushing down the street towards the city, kind of wondering why is she going through all this trouble just for a stupid cat. But then she realizes, like, of all the things that she loves about blood, she only recently discovered that blood is warm and feels pleasant. And as she's saying this, we see like a flashback of her hugging Meowie. So yeah, episode starts off with a lot of naked power. So yes. And then we immediately have Power waking up. She sees Meowie in her arms, and then she sees that she's being held by Denji, and the Bat Devil's dead. And she's wondering, why did you save me when I tried to kill you? And then Denji points at her breasts and then makes grabbing motions. She apologizes for lying to him and thanks him for saving the cat. And Denji's super excited because not only did he get to kill a devil, but now he gets to touch a girl's breasts. And that's when his arm gets blown off. And we see that there's another devil. It's the Leech Devil. And the Leech Devil was actually romantically involved with the Bat Devil. And the two of them had a dream of killing all the humans and conquering the world. And Denji says what his dream is, and that's to fondle breasts. And the Leech Devil, of course, says that's a stupid dream. And then Denji kind of has like a moment where he flashes back to all the people who have belittled his dream, like Power, Aki, now the Leech Devil, about how his dream is stupid and foolish. And Denji gets pissed off, and he's like, everyone thinks their dreams are better than mine. Like, they're fighting because of revenge. They're fighting to protect other people. They're fighting for whatever stupid reason they have. My reason is just as good as theirs. And Denji says, we're going to have a battle of dreams. We're going to fight each other, and we're going to see which dreams is the strongest. And at this point in time, Denji is weak as hell because he's used up a lot of blood fighting the Bat Devil. Power is too weak to even move, so Denji's on his own. He's missing an arm, and he can't fully transform. Like when he pulls his cord, the only thing he gets is a little tiny chainsaw coming out of his forehead. But his head doesn't even morph into the chainsaw. It's just, he looks like regular Denji, except he has a tiny little chainsaw on his forehead. He goes battle crazy and he just fights the crap out of this Leech Devil, and it goes back and forth. And the animation for this is beautifully done. I love it. I would say this is the best fight scene so far. I say that with every episode, but it's like every episode the fight scenes get better and better. It's insane how good the animation is here. And the fight scene isn't even the best animation moment in this episode. We'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah. We have a battle of the dreams. Denji puts up one hell of a good fight. I mean, he slices this Leech Devil's throat. He slices it down its neck. He cuts it up pretty good, but he's already in a weakened state. So the Leech Devil overpowers him, is about to eat him when Aki shows up, and Aki makes like a little fox symbol with his hand, and then he says Khan. And Khan, who is the Fox Devil, Khan's head shows up and just takes a huge bite out of the Leech Devil and kills it. And then basically eats the rest of the Leech Devil. And we have a moment where Aki is taking control of the situation. The rest of the public safety show up. And he sends for Meowie to go to the vet so that Meowie can get checked up. Denji wakes up in the hospital. His arm is back. Basically, they were able to find his arm, and with a little bit of blood, it was able to reattach. And he basically mentions that Denji really is a devil, or he's more devil than Aki assumed. And that's when Denji notes, well, it seemed like you were pretty friendly with a devil. You were pretty friendly with that Fox Devil. And that's when Aki reveals that devil hunters will actually form contracts with devils to fight other devils. But every contract is kind of like a give or take. So every time Aki uses Khan, he has to give something up, kind of. In this case, he had to give up some of his skin. So we see like his arms wrapped up in bandages. I wonder how exactly that happens. Does he just like skin himself? Or does his skin that the fox wants to disappear? I don't know if it's ever mentioned in the manga. I can't recall. But yeah, so basically he gave up some skin to be able to use Khan. And Aki basically says that they looked through the footage. We saw you and Power patrolling. We saw you going up to the house where the Bat Devil was. We saw a lot of your blood splattered on the floor leading up to the building. So it looks like Power seems to have betrayed you. Power tried to kill you. Why are you trying to protect her? And Denji covers for Power. He says, I don't know what happened. I don't think Power did anything wrong. Basically, he's covering for her. And Aki kind of remembers, Aki during his investigation talked to a lot of people that Denji was protecting when he was fighting the Bat Devil, and how a lot of them like wished to thank Denji for saving their life, except for the guy who was in the car that Denji threw at the Bat Devil. He's not very happy with Denji. Aki basically makes a deal with Denji. I'll cover for you and I'll cover for Power, but in return, I want you to follow my orders because I have more experience with this. You just do what I tell you and everything will be fine. And Denji says, yeah, I'll kind of think about it. And so he goes out. Power's there with Himono. Power is, of course, handcuffed. And she basically says, like, see, I told you that I didn't do anything wrong. And she gets freed. Aki goes to visit Makima, gives his little review of what happened, covers for Power and Denji. And Makima is like, all right. Like, she doesn't buy the story, but she knows he's lying, but she accepts the story. The next morning, this is where we have like the best animation in this series so far. And all it is just a slice of life of Aki's morning routine. So Aki waking up, putting water on his face, making himself a cup of coffee, brushing his teeth. And we actually like just the way that it sounds so super me saying, but just the way that the toothpaste comes out. Everything is just so beautifully animated. It's like almost like watching a Studio Ghibli movie or something. It's like, holy crap, they put so much attention into this. Aki putting his hair up into a ponytail, and you actually see, like, it's not just kind of half-assed. Like, you actually see all the little motions that are required to put your hair up in a little bun. They animated like everything, like just even him making coffee, where he's like heating up the water and he's putting the filter and he's pouring the tea through the filter and the grounds and stuff. It's like, holy crap, there was so much attention to detail in this scene. It's amazing how much animation, thought went into this. Like, just this little moment itself has more well done animation than a lot of other series that I've seen. It's like, holy cow, like there's got to be like a lot of money put into this series. And I'm sure they're making way more back, because Chainsaw Man's like the most popular anime out there right now at the moment. Yeah, it's awesome. It's also kind of weird that I don't know if any of you do this, but Aki brushes his teeth and then he makes himself some coffee and drinks it. And I'm like, dude, why'd you brush your teeth before you had some coffee? Like, you know what coffee does to your teeth? You should be brushing your teeth after you drink coffee. So I don't know. It's one of those things that's like I've seen in other stuff before, and it's always bothered me. Goosebumps does this a lot. I remember always being confused as a kid when I'm reading Goosebumps. The main character will wake up, brush his teeth, and then have breakfast. And I'm like, wait a second. Why are you brushing your teeth before you eat breakfast? That doesn't make any sense. You brush your teeth after you eat breakfast. But yeah, I've seen this before, and I'm like, does anyone actually do that? Does anyone actually like eat breakfast after brushing their teeth instead of before? Because that's just really weird to me. But yeah, we basically just have Aki's morning routine. And then we cut to lunch where he's making a meal for him and Denji. When all of a sudden there's a huge pounding on the door. And Denji's like, is it some kind of devil? And they're like ready for battle. When all of a sudden like the knob breaks in. And then the door gets kicked open. And it's Power holding Meowie. And Power basically says that she's going to be living here from now on. And of course, both Denji and Aki are like weird. They're like freaked out. They're like, are you serious? And Aki, of course, calls Makima. He's like, what are you doing sending Power here to live with us? And Makima makes some kind of bullshit excuse about how Aki is the person she trusts the most to handle this. I think she's just doing this just so they can work on their teamwork or something. But yeah, Power's going to be living with Aki and Denji from now on. And if Aki thought that Denji was a terrible roommate, well, just wait until he has to live with Power. Because we see Power and we see how how much of a hassle she is to live with. To start with, when they're eating lunch, she grabs all the vegetables and starts throwing it everywhere, just making a huge mess because she hates vegetables. Then we see Power clogging up the toilet with all the toilet paper and saying that she refuses to flush because she only flushes her poop a couple of times, like once a week or something. And of course, Aki and Denji yell at her, like, no, you flush it all the time. Power refuses to take a bath because she only bathes every once in a while. And Denji and Aki scream at her, no, you bathe every day because you reek. And yeah, they basically are just like, how the hell are we living with this person? She doesn't flush, she doesn't bathe, and she doesn't eat her vegetables. Instead, she throws her food everywhere. This is going to be hell. And so Denji is in the bathroom trying to unclog the toilet from the mess that Power made. When Power walks in, points at her chest, makes a grabbing motion, closes the door behind her, closes the toilet seat, sits on it, and basically says that I'm going to fulfill my end of the promise. Like at first, I wasn't going to allow you to touch my breasts. Like I lied to you because I just wanted to get you as a sacrifice, basically, for the Bat Devil. But I will allow you 3 squeezes of my breasts. She says 1 for saving Meowie, 1 for killing the Bat Devil, and 1 for protecting me from Aki, from basically lying about how she betrayed him. And yeah, she basically says, go ahead, you got 3 fondles. And Denji gets super excited and calls Power an angel, and then the episode ends. So my man gets to live out his dream by episode 5. Meanwhile, it took Naruto like what, 700 plus episodes to become Hokage? It took Luffy over 1,000 episodes and he's still not the Pirate King. Meanwhile, my man Denji gets to live out his dream not even 5 episodes in. God, this dude's like just speed running all the goals in life. But yeah, there you go. And like, another thing, I've seen some people like kind of ragging on Denji about how he's like a perverted character, and they compare him to what the hell is that one character from My Hero Academia? The huge pervert midget guy. I forgot his name. But him and Denji are nowhere close to being the same. All right? The dude from My Hero Academia should be arrested. He should be in jail for all the crazy stuff he does. He's like super rapey. Meanwhile, Denji, he made a promise with Power. And even though he lived up to his end of the deal, like he asked Power for permission to touch her breasts. He doesn't grab her while she's unconscious like a lot of other perverted anime characters would. So, yeah, Denji's the kind of guy where he's mostly just horny. Like, this is a guy who grew up in extreme poverty, basically fighting devils as a slave to the Yakuza. This guy had to survive on bread, a loaf of bread, a month. Couldn't even put any jelly on it, no butter. He had to have like 1 piece of bread a day, basically. Yeah, he is living the good life now. And the good life is just things that us regular humans, like us people watching this video right now, get to do every day. Just a shelter over our heads, food on the table, and yeah, not worrying about having to risk our lives every day just to see tomorrow. And so now his goal is to just have a good life and eventually hook up with the hot girl. Something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there can relate to. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. I hope that this episode kind of proves that Denji is not some kind of weird molester, kind of super pervert that I've seen some people, mostly it's the people on Twitter, and you got to just ignore those people. But I've seen people like that where they're like trying to compare Denji to some kind of like sexual deviant. It's like, nah, he's not like that. Like, yeah, he wants to fondle breasts, but he's not gonna just molest girls to do it. He's gonna ask them for permission first and stuff. But yeah, kind of just rambling about that. I thought this was just a great episode. We get to see more of Power and how awesome she is. We get to see Kobine, who's awesome. I can't wait till we get to see more of her. We get to see Himino, who's also great. She's the eye patch lady. She only had like 3 lines in this episode, but she'll play a bigger part later on. But yeah, we got to see them. We got to see the interactions between Power, Denji, and Aki. And just wait, it's going to only get better from here. The Power, Denji, and Aki together are hilarious. Especially Denji and Power. Like the moments we get of Denji and Power together, I can't wait to see it get animated. It's glorious. The 2 parts, I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just say the part with Denji and Power in an elevator, and the part with Denji and Power trying to use their brains and putting on glasses, and Power driving a car. So anyone who's read the manga, you know what I'm talking about. I can't wait to see those 3 scenes get animated. Like I'm just waiting for that. Like that's like my favorite moment in this entire series. So once that we get to that, it's gonna be great. I loved it. It was great. Like each episode gets better and better. We had an amazing fight scene in the beginning, and we had some amazing slice of life moments that was just beautifully animated. And we get more funny interactions between Power, Aki, and Denji. What more could you want? So yeah, there you go. Chainsaw Man episode 4, Rescue. It was great. Seems like each episode is better than the previous one. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope to see you next time. Take care, everybody. Later.